I call John Naylor.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I was privileged enough to sit down at a wedding a couple of years ago, and a mutual friend happened to be sitting next to a mutual friend who was a builder in Auckland. The wedding was in Palmerston North, but he was down there from Auckland for the wedding. And I said to him, what are the challenges that you really think that are sort of facing us in terms of the challenges that we're facing with rising Auckland housing prices and otherwise? And he said it's pretty simple to him. It was a restriction of supply. The changes that the Auckland City Council had made to the district plan, putting constraints on supply. He said what we do need to do is actually get the process moving a lot quicker, get it so that we can actually get more houses built. And so, Mr Speaker, in 2013, we had the special housing areas put in place. And what that enabled us to do was, as a short-term measure, at that time it was seen, to fast-track housing development and address those constraints on housing supply. And it has been successful in that, to the point that we are actually seeing a huge number of houses built compared to what was happening before those housing areas were put in place. We've seen a huge number of consents being processed before those were put in place. Mr Speaker, it doesn't just happen instantly that houses are magically built. I know on the other side of the House they think they can have a policy where they wave a magic wand and houses will simply appear. But no, Mr Speaker, it does take a process. These special housing areas have been successful in speeding up the process. There is still going to need to be a further period that this will continue over another 3 years. So, Mr Speaker, quite succinctly, this bill is what its primary purpose is, to extend that for a longer period of time so we can remove that constraint on housing supply in Auckland to help get this moving a lot better for those people in Auckland.
I call Materia